Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, wordsmiths and letter enthusiasts. My name is Jared, and I will be your host for the episode. I am honored and grateful that you have joined me at the table today. We had a kids episode drop this morning. Check out our review on Push Push Penguin from Wacky Wizard Games. For this episode, I want to review a game that I believe fits at the family table. I'm hoping to do more of these alongside the kids episodes to give families that don't have small children or people that have kids but want something a little bit different to give them an option to consider. So today we will be looking at Dice Words, designed by Tim Phillips and published by Thames and Kosmos. Dice Words is a 2 to 4 player dice rolling word game where players are trying to score the most points to cool their refreshing drink to make it that oh so satisfying temperature to drink. I'll go ahead and show you how to play. Each player is going to get a cup, 7 6-sided dice with letters on all sides, with points similar to Scrabble or other word games, 1 drinking straw board where your word will be placed each round, and a score sheet. In the middle of all the players is a 2-minute sand timer, a 4-cube ice tray, along with 4 ice cube 6-sided dice, and 1 sugar cube die. Before each round starts, one player will roll 4 ice cube dice. These are the target letters for the round. Once the ice cube dice are in their tray, the timer is turned, and everyone rolls their dice. The goal is to spell the highest scoring word possible within 2 minutes. Players have the option to re-roll some or all of their dice up to 2 times. When time is up, players place their word onto the drinking straw board and everyone scores for that round. Scoring works like this. Each round has a score based on the sum of all the letters used in that word, but you then have to multiply that score by the number of target letters you used. So, if you came up with a banger word but didn't use any target letters, that initial word score is worth nothing. No worries though, there are bonus points. Your drinking straw board determines how many bonus points you get. The more points you've covered up, the higher your bonus point value is. On the main board, you get 5 bonus points for 5-letter words, 10 points for 6-letter words, and 25 points for 7-letter words. Once scores are tallied, a new round is started. Once the game is over, after a predetermined number of rounds, the player with the highest total score, summing up all those scores together from all the different rounds, is the winner and has the most delicious drink in the entire world. There are a few variants that can be added if desired. There is a sugar cube, which we mentioned earlier. After each round, the player with the lowest score adds that sugar cube to their pool of dice for the next round, giving them more opportunity to put together a better word. There are alternative options for younger players, or those of us that just can't spell very well or think up of very bodacious words. You can give these players unlimited rerolls, you can give them a head start, or you can let them ignore the target letters altogether. And there is also a variant for re-rolling the target letters if everyone at the table agrees to do so. That's how you play Dice Words. All right, so I'm going to jump right into it. Most people love a good word game. It's easy to get to the table, it's quick to set up, the game gets going quickly and doesn't overstay its welcome. I do love that this game has multiple game lengths and in a lot of ways is very flexible. You can play 5 rounds, 10 rounds, or 15 rounds if you really want a longer game. And honestly, you could just decide, I'm going to play 7 rounds or I'm going to play 3 rounds, whatever you want it to be. The game works pretty well in being flexible for the amount of time that you have. I do think that using dice for a word game is a very interesting choice. It does require some more creativity in the word choices that you use because you don't know what you're going to roll and you have to work within the confines of those letters that you're given. But there's also some flexibility because you have those rerolls to work with. No one is working with the same group of letters, obviously. That's another perk because while you may be rolling one thing, I'm obviously rolling another. It also adds a bit of frantic tension on top of the 2-minute timer that you already have going. So if you don't like that, then that's something to consider because you got dice bouncing around, you got a timer ticking right there in front of you. It does create a bit of tension for 2 minutes. So it's not one of those word games where you can sit there and think forever. It's what can you figure out quickly. And then you have the added questions on top of all that of what do I keep? What do I re-roll? Do I focus on the target letters, or do I focus on a longer word for a bigger bonus? And for me, one of the other pros is that I just like rolling dice. It's way more satisfying than pulling tiles out of a bag. And, so that's something to consider as well, is what kind of style do you prefer in your randomness of what letters you're going to be given in a word game? There are some cons, though, to having dice as your primary focal point for a word game. There's a risk you roll a dud and get absolutely nothing. There are certain letters that you need, and you might not get them. It's harder to know which dice to throw back if you have multiple of the same letter but only need one. If you think about it, you got 6 sides to a die. Each one has different letters, but not all of them are the same because you want to be able to incorporate all the letters. So if I roll 3 E's, I can't sit there and take the time to look at all the sides to decide which one to throw back, because that's wasting precious seconds that I need to be able to come up with a word. And I've only got 2 minutes. So that's something to consider as well. And, with dice, unlike tile pulling or something like that, they can go all over. It's very easy to roll dice and they bounce and they fall off the table and whatever else. And that can also kill precious seconds that are needed to go towards figuring out the word that you're going to use. The other aspect that I have a love-hate relationship with in this game is the target letters. On the one hand, I do appreciate the option to re-roll them, but there are going to be times that a player just doesn't roll the target letters. And to me, to completely negate the word score altogether if I can't put and roll any of the target letters seems a bit steep to me. That being said, on the other hand, I do enjoy the opportunity for a challenge and for the creativity of trying to use those letters when possible. And I do think that on the opposite side, it is the antithesis of this. I love the variability of adding the straw board, which gives you an option not only to mitigate the problem of not being able to roll target letters, but if you can use the target letters and get a longer word, you're getting some serious points. I do appreciate the opportunity to have multiple choices and avenues for scoring points, especially in a word game. All our brains think differently, and the different letters that pop up are going to be different. We have different ways of putting those letters together. And so having more than just one path makes it feel like everyone is participating and playing and feeling like they can play the game the way their brain works, as opposed to just here's some target letters, make it work. So I do really appreciate the aspect of the straw board and love the bonus point possibilities for those 5 to 7 letter words. The sugar cube is also great. I really do appreciate a good catch-up mechanic, and the sugar cube can be really powerful. So if you have someone that's struggling and they've fallen way behind, then giving them this option at the end of the round to be able to catch back up can definitely help them feel like they can get back in the game instead of just feeling like they're so far behind that they can't catch up. I would say that for this game, there's not a whole lot that I don't like from a game perspective. Like I've said, I think it's quick. I'm not a super serious word game player. I've played a couple. I'll play some on my phone, but it's not typically a genre that I gravitate towards all the time. That being said, I really enjoyed this one. I really like the way that Dice Words is quick, flexible. I love chucking dice and the reason I like that it's quick is because there's very limited player interaction, except the tension of racing against everybody to try and get that better word. So it's very much something that you are head down playing in front of yourself, but you also get to experience what everybody else has got going on, and it doesn't drag at any point. So I do like that as well. I do think it's great for families. I know a lot of people and a lot of families love word games. You see it on phones all the time, playing different word apps. And I do think that this has a place in people's homes, especially for the more casual gamer. I will say I've saved the artwork and components for last because I did want to add this point. The dice colors are sharp. The dice are a great size. There's not really a whole lot of artwork in the game. It's very simple. I do like the cups that you use to roll the dice in. That's a nice touch. But I do need to point out, okay, this game comes in a bag. I get it. It's an ice bag. It's cute. But it's still a bag instead of a box. And we had some things like the score pad and the rule book come out of the bag the first time really bent from the way that it's packaged. It gives you a really kind of a cheap feeling before you even had a chance to interact with the dice. The cups and the dice do fit okay in here. Right now, I've got each set of dice in their own cup, and it fits. It's a little bit wobbly when you set it on the table, but if you're not being too crazy, then I think it's fine. But I mean, like, the theme on this game is pretty light already, and so the bag, even though it's a fun touch, doesn't really do it for me because of the lack of functionality. The other thing that I've noticed is that because of the way that it stands, I end up putting it behind other games, and so it's not seen as well. Whereas if it was in a box and you had like a simple, maybe like an ice tray organizer or something like that, I think that would have worked better. But I get it. Costs are involved and all that. So I don't know. For me, it wasn't a great fit. For somebody else, they might like it that way. But just something to keep in mind that this is how the game comes. So something else to consider as well. At the end of the day, I think this is great for families, great for people who love word games. I do think that the dice and scoring mechanics give it enough variance from other word games that it does have a place on the shelf, assuming you're okay with it not stacking neatly with all your other games. But I would definitely recommend Dice Words from Thames and Kosmos. Let me know if you like this more shorter style where we kind of wrap it up in 10 to 15 minutes, where we kind of hit some of these quick family games. And if you have feedback or want to give us your thoughts on the game itself, we would love to hear from you. Links to the socials are in the description. If you don't like socials, I totally get it. Check out our website at thegametablepodcast.com. Shoot us an email at thegametablepodcast@gmail.com, or find us on Board Game Geek. 5-star reviews, subscribing to your podcast player of choice, liking this video, subscribing to our channel, following us on socials if that's your thing, and joining the conversation on Discord. These heroic actions are immensely helpful in growing this podcast. Special thanks to Ashley McCaffrey for our cover art, to Anna Snyder, who made the intro and outro music, and to Aleksey Chistilin for the How to Play background music. Join us next week. We are going to be doing a week of all-play mini-games. I'll be covering a few, Ian's covering a few, and I might be covering one as well. And we'll do that all week long. In the meantime, may your dice rolls and your card draws be blessed, and your experiences at the table be ones to remember forever.